All right. Okay, so as I was saying, Alicia sent out that email yesterday about the paid content numbers. Um, did also ask Jason to, in his next note to the editors and publishers, to make sure that they are noting which pages should have paid content on them, because I know that sometimes we're doing a page and it's not labeled in any way that it should have paid content. You know, like it might be called a records page, and the celebrations are supposed to go on there. Well, intuitively, we don't necessarily know that celebrations should be on that page, because sometimes records means obituaries, sometimes it means court records. You know, it's such a hodgepodge. So I asked him to mention that to the editors. So if you have any pages that have paid content, obits, engagements, business announcements, any of those types of things, for any of the papers, make sure that you are copying and pasting those numbers off to the side. Otherwise, Alicia has asked the copy desk to send it back so that we get those numbers there, so that they're easy for the copy editors to reference them. If you've got pages that have, you know, especially Fargo and Duluth in particular often have obits on multiple pages, we should always be noting what other pages they're on. You know, see also obituaries on pages C3, 4, and 5, you know, whatever. I had them on like 8 pages one time. But you know, so that would help also the copy editors. So probably paste it on the side of all of them if you've got them on multiple pages. So that will help us keep track of any paid content items, so that we're not missing any of them. And as we move so that more and more of the properties have the modulist, you know, it's going to help us keep track of all of those as well a little bit better. So I'm going to shut off the phone. It sounds like nobody is on the line, so there. We again, I'm going to ask that you guys all, if you're trimming columns, especially like those advice columns, these are always catching us, you know, kind of catching us in errors. We had in today's Wilmer paper, we had a column that we trimmed it at the end of the first question or response to the first question. But the very last line of that response was, here's another view, or here's a response from a similar thing, you know, a couple of years ago or something. It was referencing another letter about the same topic that was coming next. Well, we had to trim it, and so then the readers were upset because they were missing that comment. We did. I looped in Jeff Beach of the copy desk too, and he said that he thought that his team could start noting when there are references between questions to help us keep track of things like that and put them in that notes field, so that we are aware of questions that are tying into each other. So it's a little bit easier for us to see those types of things, so that we're not hacking off the column in the middle, so that the readers are wondering what that other letter said. So please, especially on those advice columns, be sure that you are reading through them quickly, just to make sure that they're either not referencing another letter within that same column, or, you know, we've had problems where it's referencing something either the day before or the day after, and so we want to make sure that we've got all of those things noted. So we also, from Wilmer, Kelly Bolden had asked us to make sure that we're using the right team colors when we're pulling a color out for our pages. And what happened was, and this is something that I don't know that many of us would have noted, but the team player, it was a softball player, and the light was hitting her uniform right, so it looked like it was hot pink. And the I think that and like you say, I mean, I said it looks like the designer pulled the color out of the uniform, so that you would think that that was an accurate representation. Well, the light was hitting it right so that it was hot pink. Well, they are cardinal red, and so apparently, you know, the very diehard cardinal fans were unhappy with the hot pink instead of red. So,
are you sure that they weren't pink? Because all those pictures look pink, and one of them showed something about striking out cancer.
Well, and that's what I was wondering. I'm like,
so did they have special uniforms for that?
That's what I wondered too. Is that you know, there are a lot of teams that do the cancer uniforms, you know. So I will check back and see if that's the case.
That is correct, Lucas.
Whatever, what was it, a pink headline, it's not the end of the world?
It was just a line.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a drop cap and a couple of lines. So yeah, but you know, clearly he got some complaints from somebody. So, but the thing that came out of it is that Kelly in particular said, you know, would it be helpful if we sent you guys like a list of our teams with their colors? And I said, yeah, and if you can get the color breakdowns, so that we could even add it to the Wilmer template, then we'd have that in the palette so that cardinal red is always cardinal red, and you know, blue jay blue or whatever, you know, then we could have those accurate colors, because like the forum has bison yellow and green.
Get river towns to do that.
Yep.
Because they have a million schools that they cover, and it's like,
right.
Can't remember are these people the purple ones, or is this team the purple one?
Yeah, I think that's something that we could send out to all of the editors, because I think a lot of them would appreciate it. Clearly, their readers like having accurate colors.
Or like especially with those like Alex sports roundups or previews that we just did. They wanted the team colors on there, but they didn't list any team colors.
Okay.
And so it's like, okay, you have to just go look back and hope you find the right team color.
Well, and especially if we can get those actual, you know, because some of them are like a lighter blue or a darker blue or a navy blue or, you know, whatever.
Well, that would just help us too. That'd probably help creative as well. Because there's, you know, Worthington does like sports books.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
for special section type work. So, yeah, so awesome. Yeah, I'll send out a note to all of the editors and ask them that if they're liking and wanting team colors, that they send us some, Brandon said it's highly likely that it was a cancer benefit, because I looked at the page too and I'm like, well, she matched it to the uniform, which looks like it's hot pink, so I'll go back and check that, so I will make myself a note to get the colors from everybody. All right. Please remember to check in your pages when you guys go on a break or into a meeting. We've had a number of pages that have been checked out while people go on supper break or lunch break or something, and the layout team needs to get on those to verify them, and they're not able to do that while they are checked out. So make sure if you are leaving your desk, please check in your page. Even if you're going to the bathroom, you know, to try and check in your page. I know that sometimes I get up to go talk to Alicia for like 2 minutes and suddenly it's, you know, 25 minutes later, so it's a good thing for me as well. Also double check that any pages that still have the cat, you've got the missing ad cat, the big yellow cat, make sure that they are still marked unverified. We had a page that snuck through on one of the shoppers that had the missing cat. The page had been verified accidentally, but an ad was missing. It went through the page designer, it went through the editor, and was sent to press with the big yellow cat, and it printed that way. So make sure that if you're seeing those, that it is marked unverified in your queue.
Do we need to let layout know then too? Because like I know sometimes like my page will still be unverified, but they verified the section on their list, so they don't check it.
So they verify like the whole section
Yeah.
at one time? Is that?
Yeah, so like what happened one time was I saw a cat on one of my pages, but my page was unverified. But what they had done on their list for the form was they had written verified next to it on their sheet.
Oh, on their sheet.
So they didn't even go in the verified
back.
list. Yeah, to
Right.
go look for it.
Okay.
How can I make a PDF if it has a missing link?
You just bypass it. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I suppose,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can,
Oh.
yeah. Which has happened a couple of times recently too, is that we've had missing links, and that was copy editors had PDF pages with missing links, so, which also should not be happening, so. But, I mean, I don't think that we can double check every single aspect, you know, cause then you're having to go, are we gonna really look at every single page that's marked unverified to check that it still says unverified on Creative's list?
Right.
Well,
Well,
I mean, maybe at night, because, you know, you guys, if you guys are finding unverified ads, you know, when it's coming close to, print, or coming close to the time that layout goes home, then that's definitely a
ask them
problem.
about it, yeah.
You know, like for us at Dayside, a lot of times we have unverified pages or pages with the cats on them, and we're like, well, we just push them through because a lot of times they're coming in really close
Right.
to deadline. But for the Nightsiders, you guys are they have to be on there, you know, by the time that layout leaves, because otherwise it's not going to happen, you know, before press time. So, yeah.
Okay.
So any questions on any of those things? The hub managers are making another extra super push to make sure that errors and especially story duplications do not happen. We had a couple of significant errors in the forum this week that have really caught the eye of the higher ups, and honestly, none of them were our fault, but we are kind of being held responsible for them in some ways. And so the hub managers at night, Joe and Cole, will be checking every page of the daily newspapers before they go to press. They will be looking through all of them at one time to try to avoid duplication of stories. Particularly, I think, you know, we've all known that we've had some in the forum and the Herald. This week we had one in the forum because a story was budgeted for the business page and also the home and abroad page. And the copy editor who budgeted the home and abroad page hadn't looked at the forum's budget, and vice versa. The business editor for the forum had not looked at the home and abroad budget, and so they ended up on 2 pages of the same newspaper. So we're doing everything that we can to try to avoid things like this, because you know, it's one thing when we misspell something in a headline, you know, it irritates readers, but not to the level of when they see duplications of stories. They really, you know, I've seen notes about how, you know, you're wasting my money, you know, or do you guys not have enough news to fill the newspaper, things like that. And so we're trying everything to try to avoid these types of things happening. So if you guys have suggestions, please send them our way. You know, that was a big part of all of your one-on-ones with your managers too, is just looking for those solutions that you guys think could help your jobs, help make things go more smoothly, help us avoid errors, because you know, clearly, I mean, we don't have all the answers certainly, and if we can get ideas from 30 some of us instead of, you know, 3 or 4 of us, it's always helpful. So
I was
Yeah.
looking at the Dickinson from the layout, yesterday's paper,
uh-huh.
or today's paper,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I saw there's a dupe on the Home and Abroad, and one that I had laid out last night. So.
Now that will happen with
Yeah.
the home and abroad, in the papers that are not using them in their printed product,
Okay,
and we're not as concerned about that.
okay,
Because the editors know that those home and abroad pages are going at the end of every daily newspaper. And when they're pulling those stories from that home and abroad budget, then they know, they've been told that we're using them in those pages for the e-edition. So if they're using them in the regular printed paper, they are well aware that it will be that duplication in the e-edition. It's, the big thing is when we've got duplications in the printed edition, yep. So, but that's a good point. We did have a reader who was upset with the duplication between the e-edition and print edition in Duluth recently, that the editor has been talking with us about and stuff, so, but like I said, you know, there's just no way that we're going to be swapping those things out, and as I said, you know, they're pulling them from that FNW, the Form Nation World Digest, so they know that they're going on those pages, so anything else before we get into kudos? Okay. Let's look at some pages. And we don't have an awful lot of them this week, so we'll move through them quickly here. Whoops. There we go. This is a page that Brandon did for the Duluth News Tribune. And just a really nice, clean page, the lighter headline. Oh, sorry, not screen sharing. Thank you, guys. All right. Now we can see. All right. Brandon's going to describe the page via text. It could be sort of like charades or something. I don't know. So just a nice page, nice photo, and I like the lighter face headline here. It's just a little bit airy since there isn't a lot of art on the page, especially in the main section of the page. So I think that was really helpful to just let it breathe a little bit. So, and Brandon says it was actually specifically requested that it be light face. So
Just take the compliment, Brandon.
yeah, just take the compliment. Nicely done, Brandon, no matter who requested it, so well done. And let's see. Oh, okay. The main story is a retrospective about a narrowly averted school shooting. That sounds like one that I'd like to go back and read. For those of you who aren't aware, Duluth is actually celebrating their 150th anniversary, and this week is like their big celebration. And so throughout the course of this week, they've been using old flags, and so they've been working their way backward as the year, or as the week has progressed. And so today's I think was 1954, and tomorrow's is 1918. The flags that they used, and I think the Saturday one is like late 1800s. I forget exactly what the date is, but it's very cool. So take a look in your in Olive and just kind of take a flip through all of the old flags, because it's been really fun to see what they used to look like. I think it's pretty cool. So, all right. Here is one from Mitchell. This is one of Angie's, and a nice Easter centerpiece. And she had some nice Easter egg cutouts. Who a high school junior who put egg design on display at the White House, and so these are 3 different views of the egg that she painted for display in the White House. So neat story and photos. So nicely done, Angie. This is one that, let's see, this is one that Jenny did for the forum. And a nice photo package. I like the usage of several different photos there. It's almost like a film strip of photos of the local kind of iconic buildings in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Of which Fargo-Moorhead icons would be the most heartbreaking to lose. So, interesting story, and really nice treatment of it as well. Great teaser box up at the top too. Really nicely done. Nice job. This is one that, let's see, that Jackie did for the Herald. And big news around here is the president of UND getting ready to take a new position in Colorado, I believe, right? Yep. And so a nice package here on that UND president. Nicely done. I like the big reversed U there as well. And a really big drop cap, you know. Sometimes those are just fun, you know, it's just really bring that reader in with an even bigger than normal drop cap. This is one that Wayne did for the forum, a life page, really striking art and nicely played. Still has some breathing room, it's got some nice air around it. So, well done, Wayne. This is one that Cindy did for the forum, and on Easter lilies, and great photos again, and nice usage of them. Well done, Cindy. Here's one of Tanner's. This is one that he did for Grand Forks, and I really like the headline treatment here. We can get it. Sometimes it takes just a moment to kind of clear up, but he's got the team colors just in the little stripes, just like the little stripes in the uniform, which I thought was a really nice touch.
I don't know, is that
3D glasses.
pink?
Tanner, you're getting a hard time. Is that pink in there or red? So, well done, Tanner. And actually, this one is one that Michael did not send in, but he did this page, and one of the other designers noted that he thought it was worthy of kudos. This is a great story. This is a sophomore at one of our high schools here in town. It happens to be the high school that my sons attend, and this young man has autism, and it's talking about him being on the cross country and track teams, and it's a really great story, and this kid is a great kid, and the team has really been really accepting and supportive of him as well. So it's just a really nicely put together centerpiece. Michael put it together early last week so that it was all prepared for I believe Tanner finished off the page, so great looking design on that page, so, and a good story. So that is it for us. Those are all of our kudos. So, and I've given you all the announcements. I will be out of the office all next week and the following Monday. So I've got my out of office all set up. So I will be here tomorrow yet, but then I'll be off for a little over a week. Joe will also be off next week. He's back the following Saturday. So Cole and Emma will be taking care of everything next week. So hopefully neither one of them gets sick, because otherwise it could be really stressful back here. But I will be out of state. So so
That's not your problem.
Right. Don't call me. So remember, if you're going to be late for work or sick or something, email the hub managers or text, either Emma or Cole, because Joe and I don't care next week. So we will be enjoying vacation or attempting to. So have a good week next week. I will cancel next Thursday's meeting, so you guys will be free from this next week. So we'll see you guys back in 2 weeks.
Remember that time when you were gone and Roberta had like 5 minutes